Howdy, 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 and how's everybody doing tonight? Thank you for joining us. Let's see who all we got in chat here tonight. We got Sir Franklin, Cookie Brightwell, some weirdo named Clearwater Chad, Laura Waldy, David, how are you doing tonight? The Poop Bucket, how are you doing tonight? Let's see here. It's Elena. Let's see. From cloudy and windy Illinois. It's same here, but we've got more snow coming down. Chris on the drums is up in the house tonight. Let's see here. Make sure we're not missing too many people. Canadian girl, how you doing? All right. Lisa Robinson, Diana Johnson, Tanya, how are you doing tonight? DJ Goldenheart, how we doing? How we doing? Let's see. Scooter Mom, what's going on? And somebody throw the link in there for Scooter Mom's channel. Scooter Mom does a lot of great stuff out there, helps out a lot of the smaller and the growing channels. Let's see here. Homestead, how are things in Alaska? Just a girl and her cat. Let's see. Hope you're having a wonderful Sunday evening. Hello from Chicagoland. Awesome. We got a few folks from Chicago up in here tonight. So everybody, thank you for being here. Thought tonight we would just take a moment, and boy, this collar's driving me nuts. Just take a little bit here, talk, see what's going on, talk about some things that have been on mind lately. Let's see. Doing okay. Oh, I am so sorry to hear that. Definitely keep you in the thoughts and prayers there, Tanya. So, and you know how it is. It's Sunday night. We got a certain way we do things. Jen Hack, how you doing? Let's bring in our old pal, Clearwater Chad. How we doing, Chad?
Great. How you doing, John Poe?
I'm doing good. Just like busy life. You know how it is.
Absolutely.
So, I'm not a an advanced CEO like you are that's running a multinational, multi-trillion-dollar company like Chad does. But the Chad Network is a big thing, and we all strive for greatness. So
appreciate that.
Does Chad have a weather report for us tonight?
I do.
All right.
It is 33 degrees in Buffalo. Precip is at 10%. The wind is at 9%, and it's 68% humid, John.
Excellent. And you know what? It's 33 degrees here as well. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah. So howdy to Sin. How you doing tonight? Let's make sure we're not missing anybody else before we get going here. Andrea Malloy's here. Like I said, Jen Hack is also up in the house. Lord have mercy. Look who drug himself in finally. I tell you, he's been getting later and later for all these live streams, hasn't he? Jen, how are things over there in the wonderful Down Underland? I know it's been crazy down there. Diana, it's 28 degrees in southwestern PA. Let's see, you got rain. That's awesome. Forgive me if I'm wrong about it, but I hear that certain areas don't get a whole lot of rain down there. So, but yeah, it's still hot. Yeah, that's an affliction. My goodness. Chad and I can talk to you about that, how bad hot heat is. So here in the great northern areas. Let's see here. Sinkei is finally over the flu, except for the lingering cough. Yeah, it seems to be something. My wife, every year she gets bronchitis. She has a lot of problems. Of course, me with my busted up snaz and everything. But, I get the bad sinuses and the allergies. But the wife, she gets that bronchitis. Man, that stuff gets deep. So let's see here. Dusty Sody Fountain Dispenser Pop is how we doing there. Let's see. Ice Princess is here. You got the notification. I'm glad you got a notification because I sure didn't. And Cookie, we're saying hi to you again. Cookie was one of the first in the chat tonight. So how you doing, right, Cookie? Whoa, you're having hurricane winds and rain there. Wow. Is that going to be part of that stuff that's coming up out of California? Is that going up your way too? What do they call it? The Santa Ana winds or something like that? That's causing all the problems with the fires and stuff out there. So, and that's one thing. Let's start off on that. Chad, what do you know about these fires that are going on out there in California?
Well, I heard about California. I heard that's really bad, and I hope they can recover quickly.
Yeah. And keep all the people that we know that are out there in LA and in that area, keep them in your thoughts and prayers, folks. Been in touch with some of the folks that I know that are out that way. They seem to be doing fine at this time, but anything could change. And there's a lot to think about with what's going on with this stuff. from the fact that the mayor knew that these things were that there is a high probability for these things happening, that these winds are coming in. These are like a once in a decade, once in a lifetime kind of stuff. Goes off out of the country. Um, the fact that you got the fire chief that actually was in an interview and said that the city dropped the ball on it, that they shut down those reservoirs, drained them out, were repairing them, and didn't notify the fire department. I want to hear what your guys' thoughts are on these. And Chad, what do you think?
Oh wow, I didn't know about that. That's not gonna fly.
Wow. Yeah. And let me say this. As someone who was a chief, chief in a first response department, was an executive officer, administrative level in another, in two other departments. The thing is that the statement of the city dropped the ball on it and didn't let us know. That's not an answer. All right. As the chief, as the person who's in charge of that first response division, you got to have people out there checking this stuff. I know with the fire departments I've worked with, every 3 months they're out, and it doesn't matter what time of year it is. Every 3 months, sometimes sooner if they've had water main breaks or things like that, but at least every 3 months they go out, they purge every hydrant in the city. They send out a 2-man crew, and that's what they do is they go around to hydrant to hydrant to hydrant, open them up, blow the rust out of because they get rust built up in them. And they go out there and they blow those hydrants out. I'm just wondering what's going on there. Do they not do this? Every fire department I've known does these things. And, take a look at some of the rural fire departments and how that they're handling things. In areas that I've been in where it's extremely rural and you don't have the fire hydrants everywhere like you do in a more suburban or an inner city setting. They have tanks, actual water tank trucks that go out and they fill up these great big inflatable pools that they put the hoses into to suck the water out. And they have these trucks constantly going back and forth, filling them up. I'm just wondering why that can't be done from the ocean, why they can't get some of these rural departments bringing this stuff out. I want to know your guys' thoughts on that. Homestead, ours comes from Hawaii, not California, the Pineapple Express. Wow, I did not know that. Let's see. My son lives out near there, and in our thoughts and prayers. Sin, you're wishing you can get some of that rain. I don't know. 33 degrees. It was snowing, and I mean, we got those big snowflakes coming down. Let's see. Santa Ana winds blow from inland out. So, oh wow, I didn't know that, Dave. Thank you for letting us know. Let's see. A major malfunction in LA County. It's left a lot of people devastated. Wish we could send them some of our snow. I do too. I think that might help out quite a bit. Do you know that Canada has offered the world's largest tanker plane that literally lands on lakes, and when it's landing, it's using the momentum and the inertia of the plane to help fill the tank. It's the largest one in the world. And they've offered to send that down. So I don't know what's going on. DJ Goldenheart, poor management by Newsom. I think it's on several levels. You have Newsom, then you have the mayor, you have so many different areas. Literally, Serge and Michael did a live stream earlier tonight. They said the air quality, it's going to be very bad there. I can tell you that being in Thailand during what they call the smoke season, and what happens is at the end of the harvest season, they go out and they burn everything that's left in the fields. They burn it because that creates new nutrients, helps to keep the ground strong, helps to keep everything fed so that they're able to plant crops. What they generally do is they'll burn and they'll leave that ground set for at least a year, and then they'll come back and plant in it. So in that time, they get the ability to take all the nutrients that they get from burning, and for some reason, burning really does the job. There's a whole lot of different things going on out there. They're talking about the fact that they have, they're not cleaning the forest floors. If you're not cleaning the forest floors, you have decay, drying material, and especially if you're not getting much rain, it's going to be a bad one. Strangely, around this time of year, we need firefighters from the northern hemisphere. Wow, you guys need them more than us this summer, and that's it's something else. The Santa Ana winds are there every year causing havoc, and that's what I heard. You got to remember, even though I am a plant and I'm a bad actor, I haven't been out there in decades, so I have no idea. The nurse is there to poke you. All right, I'll go have fun with that. $17.5 million cutbacks in the fire department, with 15% of the fire vehicles broken down. Not just that. And hey, Couch Broccoli, how you doing? It's not just that, Doug. It's the fact that they also let mechanics go. So it's not a matter of just the vehicles are broken down. You don't have the mechanics there to repair these vehicles, get them back up and do what they need. It is insane. Let's see. Bass could care less. She just took off and left. She doesn't know how to take care of Los Angeles. Very well could be. I know this. I mean, we're also talking about someone that for a long time was out there touting Scientology and the great things that they do. And here we have we have this going on. As soon as she's running for mayor, she's, I'm not part of Scientology. Hydrants aren't just valves. They need to be exercised so they don't get stuck. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Purging those lines. Because as I was saying, and I would watch when our firefighters would go out there and they would purge the hydrants. All right. First off, those caps are cast iron and they rust. So you'd see them out there. They have to get out there and they have to hammer on those caps to break the rust free enough just so they can spin them off. Then they're doing the same things with the valves that are in the tops of the fire hydrants. And if you don't know, top of the fire hydrant, there's a big hexagon nut up there. Well, most of them are hexagon or they're square. And they have a special wrench that's made specifically for turning that valve. They turn that valve and it's not like it's instant, but takes a second or two. And then all of a sudden it looks like a chocolate milkshake being sprayed all out on the ground. It is nasty. And we're talking from just a couple of months of these things sitting. They do fire hydrant flushing here in Palatine. Yeah. Well, we did it all year round in the city that I retired from. With budget cuts, they may not have staff and or equipment to purchase hydrants. And that's very true. I don't understand. I know that there was the huge push to defund the police there for a while. But one of the things I'm wondering is, was there a move to defund the fire departments? Why on earth would the firefighters do nothing but save lives? That's what they do. Our volunteer fire department in my small town do a better job. Very well may. We call Detroit firefighters smoke eaters. Those guys, I mean, now they're online. They have all the new modern equipment and everything. The thing is that for a long time, Detroit had like these F-350s that they had fitted out with hoses and all that stuff. And they would literally send these trucks with 2 people on them to fight a house fire. If you've never heard of it, look up Devil's Night Detroit and see how bad it used to be. They used to set half the city on fire on Devil's Night, Halloween night. And it was bad stuff. Let's see. Oregon is just as bad as California regarding fire. I did not know that. And if you're one of those folks who were gifted 10 memberships by Sir Crepitus, make sure you let Sir Crepitus know that you appreciate it. And thank you, Bill, for that. We really appreciate you. We know how to control the weather. Just turn the rain on. I wish. I don't even know how I know that they used to have these things back when I was growing up. Chad, you ever heard about that where they would go out seeding the clouds to make it rain in areas where it hadn't rained?
Oh, that's amazing if they could actually do that. I never heard that.
I don't know how effective it was. I just remember these things from when I was a kid. You see these planes up there and they'd have this trail of glittering dust behind them. And apparently it was some kind of silver stuff or something like that. And what they were doing were they were letting this powderized, I think it was silver, it could be something else. They were letting this powderized stuff go into the clouds and it would weight the clouds and the clouds would start producing rain. I don't know what's been going on with that. Haven't some companies been pumping more water than they should in the last few years, depleting some of the water sources? I would believe it, honestly. I know here in Michigan, they did some kind of hack deal where they allow one of the big bottled water companies to come in, and they just literally get to suck millions and millions of gallons of water out of the Great Lakes. And I think they do it for like pennies on the dollar. Didn't the USA sell off water to private interests? Was it public before? It's not the water they're selling off, it's the rights to go in and take the water for like these bottled water companies and things like that. Canada Taker plane can also scoop ocean water. And that was another thing. Only planes that can. And that was another thing I was going to talk about is, they talk about LA has a water shortage. They don't have a water shortage. They have just as much coastal property as the state of Michigan does, if not more, because we're completely surrounded by the Great Lakes. But they have just as much coastal property as we do. They don't have a water shortage. They have a salt problem. Desalinization has come a long way, and why they haven't pursued the fact that they could go to desalinization, other than I understand there's a species of fish somewhere off of LA. That's one of the reasons why they've refused to do anything with ocean water. The dead brush isn't allowed to be removed from the forest land in California. And that was one of the things I was talking about. You're not cleaning your forest floors, then you're building up burnable material. You're literally building up fuel for fires. Oregon sent fire trucks to help out, got stopped in Sacramento due to not passing emissions. You got to be kidding. Are you serious? They literally, now I'll tell you from personal experience. I have a lot of friends that are in the Monster Jam world, and a lot of them absolutely refuse to do any shows on the West Coast anymore because they've got to jump through so many hoops with emissions, things like that, that it's just not worth it for them to go out that way because they're demanding such crazy things. And these, so a lot of them, I've got a friend that's got a multi-million-dollar operation. He's got, I think, 6 race trucks, a ride truck, and he's got the semis to haul all of them. None of his semis are older than 3 years old. They won't pass the emissions tests in California. Guy's stuff is all top notch. So Mars Bomber, they were the former UASF cargo carriers. We bought them in BC and converted them to water bombers. They are retired now, but they are flyable. I just saw a big thing with the big red plane that they use. That's the thing is it's crazy. Saltwater ruins the firefighting equipment from what I heard. But if you're using it on the short time basis and you have a chance of, okay, we can cause some damage to some parts that can be replaced by sucking the ocean water in, or we let everybody's house burn down, lose how many lives, I mean, what's going to happen here, and that's the thing is, yeah, I understand salt water is corrosive. Salt water does damage, but it's a matter of, is it a bigger threat to allow salt water to damage pumps or something like that than it is to actually save lives and save homes, save people's dreams, save their savings. And those are things we gotta let's see. What? I don't even know what you're talking about. Gosh, Poe, you don't look green. Aren't most plants green? I don't. Am I looking green tonight? I don't know. It
No,
might
you
be
look
the
good,
the
Poe.
city. Huh?
You look good.
Okay. Let's see. There you go. Bass came back with a case of gonorrhea. So let's see. Yeah, I've seen them eat more. I've seen them with the pentagon. I've seen them with a hexagon, and I've seen them in a square form. So it all depends, I think, on the age of them and all that. Let's see, John or Chad, one of you has a TV or something playing in the background. That's not going to be me. I
took care of it. It was my son,
okay.
So I told him to lower it, and I've been trying to mute myself.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm in the studio. So growing up in Philly, they would put sprinkler heads on fire hydrants, keep kids cool in the summer. Yeah, and in New York City too, as far as I know, they do that up enough in Buffalo there, Chad.
They said, what was that? Sorry, what was
where
the
they would
question?
go out and they would open up the fire hydrants so the kids could play in them in the summertime.
I've
Keep
never
cool.
seen that. No, I've seen them do, like you said, the test and everything. I've never seen
Right.
kids playing them though. There's plenty of water in, some of the states like that I live in.
I've seen it like in New York City and in Jersey and
Oh,
places. I
okay.
didn't know if they did it in Buffalo or not. Firefighters aren't there just to fight fires. Oftentimes they are also first EMS on scene before an ambulance can get to you. Absolutely. I think it's really sad that a lot of departments have gone away from having firefighters be EMTs. Let's see. Let's see.
Thank you,
And
Jen.
Jen Hack, thank you for that super sticker. I appreciate it. Thank you. Let's see here. All right. Why not the final boss? What are you talking about, Chad?
Oh, the final boss was telling me not to go on Who Are These Podcasts tomorrow. I'm going on Who Are These Podcasts at 4 tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Couch Broccoli, they did cloud seeding in Vietnam to try to slow down the Viet Cong. I'm pretty sure it's toxic, so they don't do it in residential areas. That's interesting. Yeah, I remember, yeah, silver iodine. Yeah, I hadn't seen that since I was a child. I never knew why. Oh, okay. Did you see the response, Chad?
Yeah.
So, Quinn DQ, what's up, Chad?
Hey, Quinn.
Let's see here. Make sure we're not missing too many other. Let's see. These clowns just keep making lame excuses. They are not leaders by any standard.
I agree with sir.
I like I said, you're the chief of police. It all falls on your shoulders. You got to make sure that your equipment is there. You got to make sure that things are usable. I understand there's cuts, there's all these different things, but I mean, it's not real good for, not a real good look when they shut down reservoirs where your water should be coming from and you don't know it. Those are things you should have people looking into. Just an excuse. Desalination plants cost trillions of dollars to build. There's new technology that have come out that reduce it unbelievably. MIT has come out with new ways that actually don't use any electrical or mechanical means to do it. It's all through gravity feed and things like that. I've been watching the reports on it. There's actually an island out in the South Pacific that this island had its own fresh water supply, but the island is slowly sinking and the fresh water is going away. So, most of the freshwater reservoirs they have are now contaminated with the brackish or the salt water. And so they are now using this new technique that MIT has come up with, and it's incredible. So let's see. Monster Patrol was the coolest monster truck. I actually knew Paul Schaefer quite well back in the day. Yeah, he had a great truck, and he actually had a real great system. Desalination is expensive to maintain, but they are telling the truth about water crisis. They would build, but if they are telling the truth about the water crisis, they would build the desalination plants. I mean, you look at it, Saudi Arabia, unbelievable what they've done with desalination. The price is coming down. Just like with any technology, once technology starts moving steps forward and forward and forward, prices start coming down. I mean, just think about it. How many years ago would well, I'll give you an idea. My 67-inch big screen TV, how many years ago would that be? $5,000-$6,000. All right. Nowadays you can buy them for under $500. I mean, we literally bought the new one off of Amazon for, I think, something like $180, $200. So,
And it's funny, John, because the old TVs, the CRTs,
yeah,
because so many people threw them out, they're starting to be worth money on Craigslist. If you look,
oh man, the gamers want those bad.
Yep.
What does the CRT stand for?
That I don't know.
Thank you for getting us started on something.
I know. I tried to be professional, like I knew something, but I didn't have enough to follow through. Typical Chad, folks.
I'm trying to figure out what it is. It is a cathode ray tube TV is what it is. And yeah, those things are, I saw one, the largest one that they made, I think was like 35 inches. And it was like $30,000. So, yes, those big red planes are Mars bombers. They were very, very effective for our forest fires up here in Western Canada. From what I've seen, those things are just monsters. The climate control people will not let the ocean water be used. Well, you reap what you sow sometimes. The minerals and salt byproduct is expensive to dispose of. Well, look up the MIT desalination thing, and it's crazy how that works. Let's see, doesn't it matter you, not to me alone? The water dropping planes took on damage and is grounded because of a drone.
Wow.
You know, I got a drone. I like drones. But I mean, come on. I mean, there are times you just gotta use common sense, folks.
And John, you even had you had whatever paperwork you did, you registered it with the town, and I wouldn't even have known to do that.
Yeah, well, that was, that's the thing is that you're going to get into something like that. You need to know what you can and can't do with them, what the laws are on them. The drone that I've got is not big enough that it requires registration. But if I'm going to use it for YouTube, that's why it had to be registered. I had to go through all the different hoops and bureaucratic BS. My dad lost 24 of 25 acres in the last mad brush fires in 2020 and nearly his life. It's a traumatizing event your country is experiencing. We truly wish you well from Australia. Thank you, Jen. Thank you so much. And I'm sorry to hear that for your dad. Canada went through the huge brush fires last year. So it's not an isolated event. It's happening all over. Northern California alerts us on high winds. Fire conditions are on it. Southern California is a desert, and I'm not sure why officials weren't on it for having some dry areas. Let's see. Southern California gets a lot of their water from Northern California and other states as well. Let's see. P.S. Watch out for looters. That's already been a big thing. That's another thing that I want to talk about, folks, is they've got this. They're literally calling them scooter looters. All right. Let's see. Dead fool. Exaggerating much. I had a Sony CRT that was I said, I don't know. Geez, dude. I know that you've got your PhD. You're on top of the world, most intelligent out there. I don't know anything about these things. So I just know
that's okay, John. Dead fool's a good guy. He's in my chat a lot.
I'm like, what the hell, man? It's not like let's see. No, bullshit. I just watched a video on the largest CRT TV, and it was listed at like $30,000. And they just found it in Japan recently. It weighed like 400 pounds. It was on the second story of some ramen noodle factory. And the guy who was doing the special on it brought it back to the United States. So, and that was the largest made. So unless you have some special ability to get one that's larger than that, I don't know what to say. Drone rules will be changing again because of this. Oh my gosh. It's just crazy. Damage the wing. The drone actually went inside the wing. What kind of drone was it? My gosh. Hate to seem and appear political in the venues where this isn't a mainstream on table, but Lake Mead disappearing, no water around. People should. You make people resign for much less. So, Jen Hack, what sort of drone could hit a water plane? Well, it's a they hit it while it was flying, and I guess it went through the thing of it. Yeah, and look at this one, Chris Mack. I had a Sony Trinitron CRT Deadpool, best TV I ever owned, weighed like 250 pounds. Yeah, the one I saw, that special they did, 400 pounds. Okay, I just had that one up there. Let's see. Cali owns half the water in Colorado River from its source. Really? I knew it came from out of state. I just didn't know where all that stuff was. Let's see, Tom. Let's see. Okay. All right. So let's see. What else is going on? Chad, what have you thought about the recent tax that's been brought up for New York?
Which one? They like to tax things in New York, that's for sure.
The destination tax.
Oh, you were telling me about that for the tolls, right?
Yeah. The mayor, what's the mayor? Kathy Hokum.
Yeah. Yep.
Kathy Hokum has went on and was talking about having a destination tax. I believe that's what she called it. For New York City, where you were going to, I think it's like $15 per day to drive into New York City. And the problem with it is that a lot of people are, that's how they commute every day. And they are, they're trying to, figure out how they're going to be able to handle this. Well, the thing is that a lot of them may not be able to do that. I'm trying to find that
It's a
video
lot of
right
money.
now
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
of the
Yep. I know
CRT TV.
yeah.
But the thing is that this is it's sad. I mean, you got people who are literally that's their life. They live in Jersey, they live outside of New York City, and they're coming in to New York City on a daily basis, trying to feed their family, trying to, do what's right. And, the thing is that now they want to put this tax on people. And apparently it's getting a lot of huge blowback actually on it. And folks, there is the link. I just put it in there, and that is to the video. And it said, "What happened to the world's largest tube TV?"
Mm.
And that's the one where it explains about it and what happened with it. It's a monster TV for that era. And so it explains the whole thing they went through getting this TV back from Japan. Apparently there were like only a couple of them ever sold. Let's see, the skin on those planes is very thin to conserve weight and are fragile. That's most planes. Is the you would think that they were these real thick things. I mean, the A-10 Warthog's like a weird one because they can literally take a whooping that no other plane can take and still keep flying. But no sin. This was what it was reported as a per day tax. And let's see. Oh, each time you go in and out of New York. Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about. Is each time you go there. And I didn't even think about the fact that it's to go in and to come out of the city. But yeah, if you're going in every day, that's a per day thing.
That's a lot of
So
money.
yeah, I mean, it's insane. I don't know if I would want to drive in New York City anyway. It's crazy down there. There you go. Couch broccoli. I hate driving in New York City. Thinking about it gives me nightmares. Yeah, I mean, that's
Yeah.
must not want tourist dollars. Well, I think that with everything that's been going on in New York City, that I think that tourist dollars are shrinking. Maybe this is a way that they're trying.
Yeah, even our union, we go down there every other year, and they're thinking about not doing it anymore. They've been doing it for 100 years, so the
Yeah.
rooms are like $500 a night there.
And Arlene, hello and thank you to whoever gifted me that membership. I wasn't even online, got an email that I was gifted. Thank you.
All right.
Love me some Poe as a member. Thank you, Arlene. Thank you. Yeah, and well, I don't know if they're going to be charging the people that live in New York that tax. I don't know if they're going to be charging just the people coming in and out of the city. And
Well, they have a bridge, George Washington Bridge. It used to cost $8 each way. Now it's 16. So it's like they're getting you no
I was
matter
about
what.
to ask you to bring that up. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, think about that. They've doubled that to now it was $32 for you to go to New York City you were there for what, a union thing?
Yep.
So, wow, what if you're a courier? And yeah, there you go. Exactly. I mean, I think about my wife. My wife in her courier service, she goes through Detroit, and she has to travel through Detroit City to get to her destinations. And that's on I-75, I-94, any of the highways there. And so she would be paying a destination or a congestion tax or whatever it is to just simply go through the city. And they would have nothing else to do. She would have to find other ways to go around. But my real question about all this stuff, my understanding is that there's been taxes already placed on New York residents. whether it be the city of New York, or living in other areas like Chad does, you have gas taxes, you have all these different taxes. Now, do you guys have to do emissions testing in New York State, Chad?
Well, what they do, John, is it's very inconvenient for some people, including myself, if it happens. If you're for the safety inspection for your car, if your check engine light is on, your car will not pass inspection.
Wow.
So
you have to
as you
have
know,
like
you're talking like O2 sensors, this, that, it costs thousands of dollars. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like my Ford Ranger. I have a 2002 Ford Ranger. It has had the check engine light since I got it. And when I went in and I put it on the code reader said that it was a vacuum line. All right, I went in and fixed the vacuum line, but I don't have a way to reset the computer. So mine just shows a check engine light. That's the that's the reality of it. But you have all these states that have put on all of these prices, all these taxes, all these fees, and all these different ways of raking money in off the common citizen. My question is, where's the money going? What are they doing with it? And that's something that I'd like to know. Here in Michigan, we have extremely high taxes on our gas. I mean, most people don't realize if there weren't the taxes on the gas, how much lower our gas prices would be. But where is the money going? They say that we're going to use the money to do repairs on the roads. I'm looking for a photograph that I posted just recently. Mm-hmm. They say that they're going to use those to make repairs on the roads. But the question that I have, there it is. Excellent. But the question that I have is, when they do the repairs on the roads, they last a year or two, and then it all needs to be done again. And that's, what's going on? Why are we not holding people accountable? Okay, now this was down in Perrysburg, Ohio. And on the gas pump, I don't know if it was the state or the county required this, but it shows you the taxes that are being put on every gallon of gas that's out there. Federal tax, 18.4 cents a gallon on gasoline, 24.4 cents a gallon on diesel. State tax, 38.5 on gasoline, 47 cents on diesel, totaling out on gasoline, 56.9 cents. They might as well just say 57 cents a gallon. On diesel, 71.4 cents a gallon. All right. So think about that. For every gallon, you're paying that much more just for the gallon, just in taxes. And I want to know where the money's going. They have these carbon taxes and the carbon footprint taxes that they're trying to charge people nowadays. Let's see. Oh, really? I didn't know that. I went through all the Reddits and all that crap, and I don't even like going to Reddit, and I couldn't find a way to get that thing done. So most everybody's like, hey, I got a great way to fix that. Buy a newer truck. I bought it because it doesn't have all the stupid gimmicks on it. I like an old trustworthy vehicle,
Well, it's good to know if I have a car that has a check engine light and they don't want to fix it, I could drive it to John Poe and he could sell it in Michigan for me.
There you go. But we've got, these are the questions that I have. They have all these carbon footprint tax. They have all these other tax that they put on everything. And it's not just Reddit, Jen. I was looking at YouTube and stuff like that. But the problem is, let's see, what was it? What was Gnome's comment? Let's see. I just saw it. Thank you. Thank you, Mischief. And howdy to Mischief. Let's see. I know I can reset the computer on my bug by disconnecting the battery for a while. Worth a try. Hey, I'll give it a try. I'm up for it. Let's see here. But what are they doing? Oh man, don't get me started on those things. When I first saw the pictures of the Cybertrucks, I know Chad gets all sweaty and breathing heavy over the Cybertrucks and all that. I first saw the pictures of them and I thought, what'd they do? They hire a kindergarten kid to draw out what they thought a space truck would look like. Then I saw more of them and I'm like, okay, I'm kind of digging that. Saw them in real life and I'm like, nah, not for me. Not for me. It's just not my thing. I like a more standard looking pickup truck. So let's see. I borrowed my neighbor's John Deere to bring it from my driveway down around the door to the walk-out basement at my parents'. Okay, I see how you got that out. Yeah, I had an old Ford 9N series, and for stuff like that, I actually made a set of pallet forks for it so I could do those things off the 3-point. So I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's fun stuff. So can anybody tell me where all of these taxes that they are putting on this stuff actually goes? All right, because our Governor Gretchen Whitmer, she ran on the campaign of fix the damn roads. She became governor, and for 3 years, nothing happened. Then when it came time to start running again for her second term, suddenly roads started getting fixed. And if you remember back in those days, I was complaining about the fact that every major freeway that goes through Detroit, Michigan was under construction, and it was hours and hours put onto our drive time just to get around. All right. Where was all those taxes that were levied before they started doing the work? Where's it going? All right. And you start looking at things. How many different bureaucratical positions do they form that could be handled without having that position? That's one of the things that really gets me. And it just seems like they keep making new positions in government for people to have. And all these taxes, you wonder what's going on with them. I know a lot of the federal taxes are just getting blown out to everything. Go to grants.gov and look at some of the federal grants that they are offering where, hey, water boiler, what's going on? If you go to grants.gov and look at some of the grants that they are offering, I mean, there's stuff like study of the ladybugs that may have lived in the Republic of the Congo from 1960 to 1961, offering a $5 million grant. I mean, that's not a real one, of course, but that's the kind of crap that they have out there. All right. Putting millions, if not billions of dollars of U.S. taxpayer dollars out there to study things, some of which don't even exist. So where, when we start thinking about these things, and then think about all of the dark projects that get funded, and then you suddenly wonder why the Pentagon paid $25,000 for a toilet, why they paid $15,000 for a hammer. And then you start realizing this money ain't going for that hammer. This money, they just tacked all that money on. So it goes into all the little secret things that we're not supposed to know about. And you have the Pentagon of the United States failed 7 straight audits. All right. So we have all these taxes, all these things that are going on. Where is the money going? And why isn't it helping citizens? Everything's going up. The prices of everything. We're actually getting chickens here because we're sick and tired of paying $7 for a dozen eggs. All right. And it may be different where you're at. That's great. I am happy for you. But you know what? It's going to be cheaper for us to raise our own chickens, have our own eggs, turn around and sell off the eggs that we don't need, and actually use that money to pay for the chickens. So, everybody's got their thing they got to do, but we're just trying to look at, what is it we're getting for the taxes that we're paying? And why does it seem that these things are not working? I looked at a study that literally in LA, because of the unhoused and the people that are living there, and there's a satellite war going on right now above our heads. I would not be surprised. I wouldn't. But the thing is that, what did I just say, Chad? Articulate, John. You just made me lose my.
I know. I was gonna say about satellites. That's what I was. Yeah, I don't remember.
John, tell us more about these satellites. I want to know.
Right, I want to know. And I think there's definitely something going on with satellites, I think.
Yeah, Jen was a government auditor, would hate to do that job in a kleptocracy. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. Oh, talking about chickens and stuff. But we can't have chickens because of local codes. Isn't my property. Uh, and that's the thing. Isn't my property my property? It's like here in Michigan, I had barrels that we collected rainwater right from the downspouts right into these barrels. We use those to water the plants. There's questions as to whether or not that's legal. There is a car dealership in Missouri that got fined, I think, millions of dollars because they were collecting rainwater to wash cars with. And then that water was going in back into the system anyway to be recycled into other uses. So it's not like they were keeping the water, but they ended up getting fined millions of dollars. So instead of using the water out of the tap system, taking it from everybody else, they were using the water that was coming down, and then it was going back into the system. So let's see. Yeah, they would just pay you to cook the books here, Jen. I would not be surprised by that. I love my chickens, and feed is way cheaper than buying eggs. Yep. Yeah, that's the thing. One of the videos I got coming out is I actually am building a gravity feed for deer. And it's basically a PVC pipe with a little L kind of shape that's going on at the bottom there. And I use sweet horse feed that I'm going to be using in it. And then with the vegetables, the cutoffs and all that stuff will go in there as well. And that's all going to be out there for the deer. But these are different things and different ways that you can use to, recycle things. All of our cutoff vegetables and things like that, a lot of it's going to be going to the chickens. There's certain things that they can't eat. And everybody say hello to our brother from another mother. Joey Catalano is in the chat. Say howdy to Joey.
Hey, Joey.
Oh, thank you for being here, Joe. I'll be giving you a call. I've got things that Chad can tell you, things that just been insane in my life here recently. So I am, I'll be getting with you and I'll explain it all to you. Let's see. I get the eggs from my neighbor. I refuse to pay the price of eggs in the store. Let me tell you something else, folks. How many of you know how long you can keep fresh eggs that are right from the chicken's hind end? All right. A lot of people don't realize that you don't have to refrigerate them. As long as you don't clean the bloom or the membrane that's around the chicken egg off, there are things that you can do where you can actually store them in water with pickling lime, and they are good for up to a year. All right. I know people that do this. The Amish do it for way longer than that, but they got bigger cojones than I do. Let's see. That's why my new cabin plot comes with water rights from my family's old rights. Can't really get them anymore. I wouldn't be surprised. People love chicken videos. They get the most views on my channel. Awesome. I'll be doing it once we get them out there. It's hard to get off the grid here down under. Doing your own water and power is fine, but you still pay the same rates. That's really sad, is they have such a lock on the utility companies, and the government have such a lock on everything that even if you go off grid and you're making your own power, they still charge you. I know of a guy that he built his own hydroelectric plant. He was off on the river. He actually built a cutout so that the water could flow through. He's a retired engineer, built his own system, and he was making his own electricity. The local public utility for electricity came in and went at him with the state police and all that. I mean, they hit his house like he was some kind of big time weapons dealer, something like that. This is a guy just making his own electricity. Big lawsuit, things happen. Now that guy literally is powering everybody within a mile radius of his home, and he's charging them like $5 a year for it. And all that $5 is just for the upkeep of the equipment. So yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, eggs keep for a mad long as you know what you're doing. And that's the thing, is how many videos are there on YouTube just showing you how to take care of your chickens, how to do the eggs? Chad, you've got what, 700 chickens up there in New York?
Something like that. Yep.
Let's see. Arlene, I have 20 chickens, saving a ton on eggs. And we're not looking at having chickens for meat chickens. We're just looking at them for the eggs. We're not going to have a rooster because, by God, I'll be killing that thing out there crowing in the morning time. But yeah, we're just looking at having hens, laying hens, and that's all we're looking at. Yeah. Yeah, mischief. It's called glassing the eggs. Yep. And you guys know I get so where I'm talking so much I don't even remember some of the stuff I'm talking about. If you store them in lime, it's called water glassing. They last over a year, but I eat them before then. Yeah, and that's the thing is I know Amish people do it. They're talking about you can do it for 15 years. I don't think I'm gonna be trying to eat no 15-year-old egg. Chad, I know you've ate some unique things in your
Well, and there's no reason to because the chickens lay the eggs every day. So
there you go. Most people trade you eggs for your vegetable leftovers. Wow. Not up here. They're all believe me, everybody's got their own garden, they got their own patch, they got their own stuff, so they don't they ain't no trading for that. But it's still cheaper than going to the grocery and buying the eggs. Put your egg is water. If it floats, it's no longer fresh. Generally, you can keep eggs a couple of months. I don't know, Laura. You're ginger. I don't know if I'm going to trust a ginger's thoughts on that kind of stuff, especially since you've been over there in the UK. I think you've been over there and ate some of those Scottish eggs, and it's kind of warped your brain there. So they also eat bugs and snakes in your yard. Yeah. Oh, yeah, man. Chickens are ruthless. But yeah, we're looking at I've been looking at a whole bunch of different types of chickens, what we think is going to be the best for us and what we're going to need, how we're going to set up everything. There's a couple of things we're going to do. One of the things we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting a pond in our backyard. And I want to have, I want to use local type fish. I want to stock my pond, be able to catch my own fish that I need it. One of my dreams is find a way to utilize fungi mycelium to transmit electricity. Oh, that's really cool, Chris. And even data for off-grid homesteads. Dude, that's cool as could be. The insulation and signal strength loss stuff are issues now, but someday. And that's the thing is, like I was saying, as technology grows, all that stuff, I mean, get with a local university and tell them about what it is you're thinking. You'd be surprised at how often they will bring in someone who's not a scholar because you have some really cool idea, or get hold of daggone Elon Musk. My goodness. If he can make a buck off it, I bet he'd do it in the capital city. Oh yeah. Yeah. I heard about a guy that lived there in Sydney. Well, and he was within Sydney limits, but he lived in a rural outstretch of Sydney that was trying to live off grid, and man, they hammered him. You get to use crow, LOL, but roosters are jerks, Beano. Yeah, I know. We had them when I was a kid. You can also train them. You can also chase them to train, or are you talking about train them to chase? Let's see. Marilee's here, but was watching from the bushes. Let's see. I just put all of my eggs in one basket. There you go. That's good. Pup Groomer, and welcome, Pup Groomer. When I had my flock, we would get produce at cost from the store that wouldn't sell. I get it for my flock and for the ducks at the county duck pond. That's pretty cool. And I just saw some videos where you can take store-bought mushrooms and you can use those to grow your own fresh mushrooms. So there's a lot of things I'm looking at. One of the things that I'm really big about, and I've tried to express with my children, is the ability that you should be able, that if the power goes out, you should have a way to live without having to worry about things. You should be able to feed yourself. You should be able to get to water, and you should, be able to just take care of yourself in a time of need. There's a lot of things that you can do, and just, all you got to do is take the time and energy to learn how to do it. Let's see. Chickens are the best snail killers. We don't have a real problem with snails around here, though. I don't recommend force. No. You got to let them have their break, and that's why we were. And you're saying exactly like I'm thinking, Nomstead. It's very, that's why you glass your eggs, so you can have them in that wintertime. There is a very easy and expensive way to preserve fresh eggs to last for months. Yeah. That's what I was talking about. And I was looking at the pickling lime. A big 50-pound bag of it is, it's really cheap, and it's going to last me probably a year or two. Chickens are tiny dinosaurs. I feed them dead mice. They go crazy. That's another thing. You don't even have to feed them dead mice. They'll hunt down and and catch mice. But Elon would steal your idea. He's you might be surprised. There's a couple people out there that he's bought their ideas from him. I like hypnotizing chooks, Aussie for chickens. Oh, okay. I don't know about how you'd hypnotize them, but that's love my neighbor's eggs. He feeds them right, taste way better. And that's the thing is the more natural ingredients you're giving them, the better that the eggs are going to taste. And I know that from growing up, we never had chicken feed. We had, we kept a certain amount of crop that was just for, our corn and things like that. But the rest of the time, it was all vegetable scraps, fruit scraps, those kinds of things. And the chickens, great eggs. You're going to have a pimped out backyard. Can't wait for the update videos. And that's the thing is that this is where we live. We want to live in our house, not for our house. So we are, transforming it to be more of what we want and what is going to be the most comfortable for us. One of the things I'd love to do is in the middle of the pond, have it set up to where we have a gazebo out there on the pond with a little bridge that goes across to it. So anytime we can go out there and have a nice setup to where we can actually have a bonfire right there, or have our fire table right there on the gazebo. And in the wintertime, put the canvas sides up around it with the windows on them, and be able to sit out there with a little fire table going, nice and comfortable in the middle of winter, just enjoying it. Pup groomer, if you want to check fresh eggs without floating them and rinsing the bloom off, shake them lightly. If you hear flopping, they're old. The air pocket has grown large enough to let the fluid move. You see, and that's a great thing about in communities like this. You have people that are that are knowledgeable about these things. I am so far removed from the days when we had chickens that I don't remember it. I second you on that. How do you hypnotize chickens, Jen? And Chad, how do you do it?
Right. Yeah. No. That's a good question. I've never done that. I'd like to see a video on that.
I saw you do that Crocodile Dundee thing with the bull. I saw you do that with that bull up there, and when you had your son out walking through the forest there in Buffalo. So I know that you're pretty good with that one.
Thank you.
So I see those dinosaur eggs on chooks too. Yeah, I mean, come on, same bones, same kind of skeletal structures and all that. Yeah, I think that that's where the dinosaurs went. My grandfather's cousin told my grandmother she could do whatever she needed to get their mean rooster away. That night, he attacked her on the way out to the outhouse. That's not surprising. And let me tell you, for folks that don't understand, I grew up with family that up till about 10, 15 years ago did not have running water, sanitation, or electricity in their home. And the only reason why that house has it now is because they passed away and their kids moved in and took over the property. But up until that point, they didn't have any of it. They literally, for their water in the kitchen, they had a pump, one of those old cast iron pumps that would bring water up from the well. I grow and harvest wild mushrooms. Yeah, but we know what kind you're harvesting, Gnome said. Chad's really knowledgeable about
Yeah, we know all about it. We'll keep our eyes on that.
If it's very hard to propagate, store mushrooms, but can be done. I suggest just buying spores. Mushroom people will even give you them. See, that's the thing is I've been trying to find out where to get them. The biggest problem I have is trying to get the spores to grow the mushrooms. The next morning, she had to explain to the cousin that she accidentally offed the rooster with a tobacco stick. They thanked her. Oh, man. And if you guys have never, we used to go down in the summertime and help with the, summer, fall area, help with the harvesting of the tobacco crops. And we would go down there, and my grandmother had these almost like white burlap shirts that she made for all of us. Let the air through, but it kept the sun from burning us and everything. But at the end of the day, you'd come in with that tobacco slime all over you, sick as a dog. Oh, let's see. That's you and Decrepidus. Bushfire Blonde, I didn't get notification either, hon. Believe me, I know how it is. I grew mushrooms for 5 years on one spore print. That's awesome. Oh yeah, we definitely need to talk. Wormer Herzog despises chickens for some reason. What's that mean, Chad?
I don't know why she despises chickens. I like chickens.
I thought that was some kind of Dabbleverse thing.
Oh no, not that I know of.
I have lived that way for way over 10 years, no bills. Yeah, can't do that here. Oh, and thank you, Nomstead. Yeah, you can't do that here. You can't just, you got to have a reason to cut off the electricity, and you can't just go out and unhook yourself from it. Oh no, you'll get in a lot of trouble. I get spores from the guy who grows mycelium falcon. You mean Millennium Falcon? And I'm just playing, Chris. Yeah, I have no idea about the different species. I know about the buttons. I know about the shiitakes, those kinds of things, but I don't know a lot of the different kinds. You draw your finger from the center of their eyes outwards over and over again till they go to sleep. Oh, wow. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. Let's see. Roosters are just nasty, mean things. That's just all they are. All sorts of spores for sale, just regular gourmet ones, all the way up to magic mushroom spores. I'm scaredy cat. I ain't doing that ever again. I did that once when I was a teenager, and whoo, man, crazy stuff. So Chad, anything else you could think of you want to talk about tonight?
No, I had a lot of fun though, John.
All right. Oh, really? I was just looking at that private chat. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But thing is, folks, there's a whole lot going on. And let's see. Well, Jen, that's something. There is a former United States Navy SEAL who just became the first person in the United States that is legally certified and licensed to grow the I can't remember what the name of them is, the mushrooms, but specifically for the treatment of PTSI. And so there's the DSR sensitivity. Okay, dual sensitivity reset. Okay, and then there's also the mushrooms, and there's a lot of different things that are being looked at. We're finally starting to get over the point of, oh, that's a sin. You can't do that. And that's the thing is that they're finally starting to realize that some of these things that they've been psilocybin. Thank you. I knew Sir Crepitus would know that, didn't you, Chad? If anybody knew what they were going to be, we know. But all right. So thank you for being here with us, folks. Hopefully we've given you something to think about. There's a lot of things that are going on, a lot of things to talk about. And, just remember that, just because someone tells you something's bad doesn't mean it is. It just means they don't like it. And just because somebody doesn't like something doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Okay. You have a right to your own thoughts, your own opinions, and you have a right to, express yourself. So just keep that in that thought in your head, and remember that a lot of folks are a lot of people feel they can't express themselves. They feel that they don't have a right to say things. You do. You have a right to your own thoughts. You have a right to your own expressions. You have your right to your own opinions. We don't have to agree. It's that simple. But I will stand by your right to have your own opinion and your own thoughts. Chad, we're going. So we're getting ready to leave here. So what do you got? Anything else to say, bud?
No, just stay tuned for more great content from Poe and the Go and me, and we'll see you guys next time.
Excellent. And as always, folks, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. I thank you so very much for your time and your energy. And remember, life is short. You get one shot. Make it count.